Hi, I'm Elliot, a writer, and I'm typing out The Great Gatsby. Why? Because that was something Hunter S Thompson did because he wanted to see what it would be like to write a masterpiece. Now that I have some time on my hands, I figured it would be a good opportunity to try it myself. So, join me every Saturday until I finish the whole novel. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Typing Out The Great Gatsby with me, Elliot. Hi. Hey. Oh. How do you do? How's everybody doing today? It's been another week. This one, not as eventful as previous weeks. For me at least. I'm sure everybody's experience is different week to week now. For a while, things were getting better, and we thought we were in the clear, especially here in British Columbia. But now it seems like things could get worse, which was something many people had predicted before. So it's important to be cautious still. We're not in the clear yet, but I am looking forward to having some sports back. I'm a big sports fan, mostly hockey, but I'm really excited for the NHL to start up again, and yeah, I'm literally. There's also coffee, so it might be that too, and it's also typing out Great Gatsby time, so just a lot of exciting things happening. Yeah. It's funny how sometimes the best way to appreciate something is to just have it completely taken away from you. It makes you feel like you've taken certain things for granted. If you watch some of my old videos, you would hear me talking about how I've just try to stop watching sports as much, just day to day, because it does take up a lot of time. It's like 3 hours of your day just sitting there watching something that you cannot control, and then all of a sudden your team loses, and it kind of ruins your mood, and you don't really have that energy to, focus on your own success. You're kind of like putting all your emotional energy on someone else succeeding, and so I talked a little bit about that. But now that I'm here and I've been without it, I'm ready to have it back, and I think going forward it's all about just finding the balance between enjoying something that doesn't really add to everything I'm trying to do for myself, and just treat it as, this is a nice treat for myself. And it is, until you kind of remove it completely and you realize how much you miss it. Isn't that what love is? It's like, if you love something, set it free, and if it comes back, it is true love. And my love for sports is true, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say here. Okay. We'll leave it at that. There's a lot of typing that we need to do today, so let's get to it. So each week we look for an intention while we're doing this. It just helps us focus what we're doing here. Otherwise, it's just a little bit of craziness. So today's intention while we're typing is we're going to look at dialogue. We're going to look at what is good dialogue, right? So good dialogue is, it's not weighted by exposition. People don't really talk like that. They don't say like, I'm going to go to the mall and buy soap, to clean my cat. Well, they might, but Jesus, that's not a really good example. It's people don't talk as if they're explaining things to the entire world. So we're not. We're going to avoid doing that. We're going to look for that today. And another thing we're going to look for today is just the sort of, how do I say it? What dialogue is building towards, because people don't just have conversations that is one level, one toned. It usually leads to something, and we're just gonna see where a conversation leads up to. All right. Okay. We're gonna get on that, but first, let me check on one thing. I'll be right back momentarily. All right. I usually put I'm recording all of this on my phone. I usually put it on airplane mode. I forgot, and I just hope a spam caller doesn't call me in the next hour and just disrupt everything. So I'm gonna check in like intervals to see that nothing screws up. It was going so well. It was such a good intro about my love for sports that I don't want to refilm it. It's genuine. This is genuine moments. Okay, so we're looking at dialogue, and we're looking at how Fitzgerald manages to not weigh it down with actual exposition, and we're also looking at what the dialogue is leading towards, how it escalates in a way into what the conversation is actually about. Okay. So when we left off last week, Gatsby, Daisy, and Nick are together now. They're having tea or lunch or something, and it's awkward. It's a very awkward moment, and Nick has just gotten up and he is gonna go somewhere. So we're gonna see where he's going, which is also what Gatsby wants to know. All right, this is actually might be a good example. I'm not sure. So we can all agree that the dialogue here is very much not weighted because there's so much subtext going on. It's not when Gatsby, I keep almost wanting to call him Fitzgerald. I'm getting these characters mixed up in my head. These people, everybody mixed up in my head. Okay, he goes, "This is a terrible mistake. A terrible, terrible mistake." He could easily talk about how he feels and all the backstory, but he doesn't do that. That is how people talk. They don't really know how to articulate their feelings. And Nick is just trying to calm him down, and he's not like, "You're just embarrassed," and Daisy's embarrassed too. Kind of just evens it out. And this whole scene is all about just calming Gatsby down and making him understand that, look, it's not a big deal. Just relax, all right? Just wanting him to relax. But it never comes out and says it. It never really, he's never confronted with that, you know? That sound you might hear is just my dog. I think the main thing about writing these realistic dialogue and having it reach this moment where it's like, okay, this is what the scene's actually about, is I think a lot of it has to happen in like revision. Because I know when I write dialogue, I know I put so much exposition in it because I just need to figure out what this character actually wants. And if I don't put it in, I would forget in separate drafts. I would so in subsequent drafts, I would have to sort of cut back. I'm like, okay, this is too much. And you have to have confidence in your readers that they're smart enough to figure out the subtext on their own. You really have to just sort of let it go, you know? Like, okay, they'll get it. And really think about separate yourself as the storyteller and really think about what the character is wanting to communicate but can't. I think that's the thing. It's like, it's the character talking. It's not the writer telling the story. And it's all about separating that with the dialogue. And I feel like I personally get caught up in that sometimes when I'm writing dialogue. I put the storytelling responsibility on the characters as opposed to just being the writer and clarifying what the character is actually wanting out of this scene that they're actually in, instead of having them do the heavy lifting for me. I think that made sense. That definitely made sense. Okay, where am I? turning the page. It's the best part, best feeling of this whole project. It's turning the page. Ooh. Is it like a nice little break from the scenes? I think what's happening is we're just moving through time. What I believe what Fitzgerald wants to do is not kind of bog us down with unimportant moments, and this is how he's doing it. Like a conversation could go on. He's showing that this conversation is going on. This get together is longer than what he wants to write. We're not gonna experience all of this in real time. So I think this is how he's kind of breaking it up. Let's keep watching and see. Right, my hair. It's the longest my hair has ever been, by the way. I haven't cut it since January. So this is half a year of work right here. Right here. Go back to my January videos to see what I actually looked like back then. Or even watch some of the videos from the beginning of this whole project and just see the progression. Okay, I see. Nick is kind of removing himself from Gatsby and Daisy's conversation. I see. Yeah, sure. Sometimes when you're typing out, you miss details. It's really not exactly the same experience as just reading it. Like things are pieced and broken up, and especially with me looking up and talking and the police sirens outside. Where am I? And losing your spot and not knowing where you are. Give me one moment. I'm gonna check on this camera business. right, we're still good. That's gonna be a recurring thing because I'm in my head with it right now. Episode 18, still have problems. You're always gonna have problems. That's what I've discovered when I used to make films. I used to be a filmmaker, a person who creates film, bring them to life. No matter how prepared you think you are, no matter how many times you do it, you're going to encounter new problems. This seems like an old problem though, but there's just so many things to deal with. I should have a checklist. Would that be a good idea? No, that's just adding more work. Let's live on the edge a little bit. This typing the Great Gatsby experience should be kind of dangerous, you know? I could lose all this footage. Let me just delete all of this right now. Wouldn't that be awful? I'm kind of creating like a bootleg copy of this whole book, I realize. I could sell it. I could share this Google Doc with you afterwards. I feel like it's in public domain and I won't get in trouble, but I'll do a signed copy of it. I'll have a book signing when I'm done all that. I'll print out 100 copies and I'll be there. I'll book sign this manuscript. Heard. Easy's face. Dang. Okay. All right. Actually, you know what? Before we get into this, let's do our Fitzgerald fun fact because there's going to be dialogue up ahead and I really want to not interject it. I want to focus. Anyways. Fitzgerald fun fact for this week. Every week I look up a fun fact about F. Scott Fitzgerald or this book, The Great Gatsby, and I share it with you. And that's about it, really. That sums up what I'm gonna do. Okay, so the character of Daisy is actually based off of Fitzgerald's ex-girlfriend, Ginevra King. I think that's how you say it. She was a Chicago debutante. They had a really important relationship together, and but apparently Fitzgerald was not embraced by the King family because Fitzgerald once wrote in his ledger the words that can be attributed to Ginevra King's father, saying, that poor boys shouldn't think of marrying rich girls. So that's sad that Fitzgerald, it's annoying when family come in between romance, you know? When family comes in between anything, that's kind of a shitty thing to do. Families kind of suck that way sometimes. But I'm sure the father was trying to protect his daughter, Geneva King, and didn't want her marrying some sort of writer type character, and she probably ended up with some guy in finance and lived a perfectly fine life. But yeah, that maybe I'm not sure about Fitzgerald's intention. I don't know their relationship that well, so I'm making assumptions here. Maybe Fitzgerald was kind of shitty. I don't know. I don't really know him. I don't know these people. But the character of Daisy is based off of this Geneva. I don't know. I'm really bad at saying names apparently. This Lady King character. All right, now let's get back to this. It's you can really feel like we were talking about the kind of escalation of dialogue, how it kind of escalates into actually something meaningful and how it's not weighted. You can really tell by this this little introduction part, like reintroducing all the characters back into the scene, that they're literally talking about the weather, which is like the most cliche thing to talk about. But it feels real, right? And you know it's going to lead somewhere. So I don't necessarily think you should have the characters talk about the weather first, but the weather has played a big role in this whole scene. So it's being addressed. It's definitely a lot of awkward subtext happening in it still, because it's like, why was Daisy just crying? Why is Gatsby literally glowing? And so we'll see how it escalates. See this whole conversation go. Okay, So now we're in it. This is actually what the scene is going to be about. This scene is going to be about convincing everybody to go over to Jay Gatsby's house. That sly devil. So he's talking about his house. But we could feel like he's talking about more than his house. He's talking about this thing that he has that will hopefully impress Daisy, right? He's worked so hard on it, put in a lot of work for it, and this is his chance now. So that is the subtext. What he really wants to say, I believe, is, yo, bro, old sport, do you think she's gonna like my house? That's what he's really saying. The Panic of the War. That should be the title of this book. You could really feel, like, from the beginning, started talking about the house, then Nick kind of catches him in his lies, and suddenly the conversation kind of picks up. It escalates, right? I think you can really see this from this example more than any. Now they're kind of talking about his proposal to, I believe, work with him or get employed by Gatsby, Nick. So it's coming back, and you could just see kind of the conversation crescendoing at that point. But before I could answer, so that conversation kind of dies, ends there. Let me give it. Fix this. Oh, that took. Yeah, the best part right here. Oh gosh. All right. So much to do. Actually, I shouldn't have erased it. This might be a good time to do that. Everybody's favorite part of the show, where I'm sure it's nobody's favorite, no one, but I'm gonna keep doing it because this is what I do now. This is the part of the show where I time myself for a minute to see how many words I could type in 1 minute. It's exciting stuff, thrilling content right here. Place your bets now. How many words am I gonna get? I'm going for it. I believe my personal record is 80, which is amazing. So I'm going for anything above 80 is good. And I'm really gonna go for it this time. This time, I'm really gonna go for it. All right. Honestly, anything above 60 is really good, in my opinion. I do type all day. It's my job. All right, enough of this. All right, no more bets. Bets are in. Let's do this. Oh no. Oh no. The dreaded sound of the ducks. Okay. That word is blossom, if you can't tell. Well, that was certainly not as good as I hoped it would have been. So let's see how we did here. 53. Well, that's no good, but that's okay. It's all in good fun. I don't know how I got 80. I feel maybe I'm like doubting myself. Is that like, did I actually get that, or did I like highlight more than I did that time? I don't know. Please, someone go back to that previous episode. Let me know. This is not a trick to make you watch an older episode. I actually want to know. I don't even remember when that was. Did it even happen? I don't know. Alright, let me do my check to see everything's good. Everything's good. Show will continue. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust my mic for a second. Sorry. Every episode is kind of weird, but this episode feels a little weirder. Or maybe it's just me. I think it's just me. Maybe I feel weird. Consistency. Consistency is key. One day, this show, maybe episode 20, one day this show will have some sort of standard. But until then, this is what it's going to be. My greatest legacy. This is it. This is it, right here. It's like, as if, like Albert Einstein was just filming himself every time he was trying to figure out the E equal MC square formula, and this is history in the making. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Liver exercises. I don't know what that is. Beeping. Oh, it's raining now. just like in the story. In Gatsby's story, it stopped raining, but July days and 2020 July days just raining for no reason. It sucks. Rain. Okay. Let's see. All right. And an Adam study. Okay, so this whole section is just showing how great Gatsby's house is and random people living there. That's funny. No, that's fine. I think this paragraph really kind of wraps up that whole experience of walking through his home and sort of how much does he actually value this stuff? Well, it depends on how impressed Daisy is by each item, and that says so much. I think that kind of brings it all together. And you realize how, I guess, what's the word? What's that word for? Like, kind of like self-conscious, or kind of, yeah, let's just go with that. I'm sorry, I'm a professional writer. This is what I do all day. I'm like, what is that word? You're really just seeing me in action. This like malfunctioning machine of a human that I am. Anyways, let's just get through this episode now. missed the of there. Of, well, Gatsby has a lot of nice stuff, apparently. Oh no. There we go. That is this part. There is, what is this thing called again? I don't remember. Anyways, that is it for this episode. Daisy is crying at the end. Interesting way to respond to beautiful shirts. Once again, it's not weighted. It's all subtext. It's like, what does she actually mean when she says they're beautiful shirts? And what does Gatsby want to convey when he tells them that there's a guy in England that buys clothes for him and sends him things every 6 months? What does that all mean? What does that all mean? And it's sort of hiding the meaning, the character's intentions, hiding beneath all of it. Why is he pulling all of it out to show them? I don't know. I don't know. Why do people do anything? I don't know. And that's what makes characters interesting. Oops. It's their ability to surprise us, yet still kind of behave realistically, I guess. It's like surprising, because that's the difference between like flat and round characters. Round characters can surprise us with their behaviors and how they sort of transform over a course of a story. What are they doing? There's strange behavior from all of them. And Nick is just observing all of that. Well, I'm out of breath. I'm tired. This has been a good episode. We've made good progress today. And read some good dialogues. Allegedly. Sometimes you wonder, like this is a good book. It's a good book. But you wonder, like, is this really the best book to be doing this? And I'm in it now, but like, I wonder what other books would be like good books to like type out and really kind of dig into and go through this whole experience with. Something that connects to me a little bit more. If there is a book that you think would make more sense to do, not more sense, but would kind of also teach you all the little details of writing and also be more emotionally connected. Not that I'm not saying The Great Gatsby isn't. I just, if you recall, I didn't like this book that much when I first picked it up. But here we are now, and I'm finding a lot of qualities about it to appreciate, and it's definitely a good textbook. That's what I think it is, like a good textbook. And if you break it down like the way I'm doing now, you can definitely see the good qualities of it. All right, I'm out of words. I'm tired. Remember when I had so much energy at the beginning, just thinking about sports? Man, I could sure go from sports right now instead of literature. But here we are. It's all about a balance, right? It's all about a balance. Anyways, thank you for joining me for another episode. This one, what a good episode it was. And next one will be even better. I promise. Nothing will go wrong. Everything will go great. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.